Hi folks, Don and Bob here, starting today in Dinosaur Coast, and it's time for a baby boom. As you may be aware if you've been following Prehistoric Kingdom, there are now babies being tested in the public testing branch of the game. So here we are in the park, trying to get a look at a couple of our youngsters in the Plateosaurus exhibit. You can see them hanging out in the grass, but they're kind of too far away to get a good look at. So we're going to head off around past the newly named Triassic Terrace and head for a new area in the park, which is the Nursery Trail. You can see the egg-shaped finials on the posts as we approach. Apparently a number of dinosaurs had eggs that were of what might be considered startling color these days. The Nursery Trail has two entrances, or two exits, depending on which way you want to think about that. We're going to go down one of them. Pardon my driving. This is a test of the new first-person control system. And we're going to come around, and you're going to get a teaser of some upcoming animals in this park. As we look into this habitat, you can see two little baby sauropods just the other side of the feeding tray. They're dwarfed by it at the moment. And we'll be intercutting with some other footage of the animals in these habitats. You may notice some size variations. They were growing faster than I expected. The normal growth is indeed quite fast for in-game time. But this is our Brontosaurus. I forget whether this is the girl or the boy. I bred two of them. Just wander around doing their thing. Being somewhat indecisive, I think, at the moment. But the babies are all quite good, interesting. They do have a tendency, these guys in particular at the moment, for teleporting out of their habitat or just glitching out. I'm not sure which. I keep finding one of them in between the habitat fence and the guest guardrail fence. But we're going to move on now to the next of our animals in the Nursery Trail. And they'll be over on the other side of the habitat. And where are they? Hello? Oh, I'm a little behind, a little ahead of where the camera is, I should say. They're over here on the other side, and these are, if you haven't recognized that little jump, these are Dryosaurus babies. Little fluff balls. Yeah, that's definitely Dryosaurus animation. And got a batch of them in here to set up to have a group. Somebody's being loud somewhere. And so you're also getting to see a little bit of them hanging together as a group when they went wandering off to the other side of the habitat, and Johnny-come-lately trying to catch up. So one of these is an albino. You'll notice a brighter one. I think that's our latecomer to the party who hasn't quite made it into this image. So that'll be kind of interesting when they grow up. Oh, they're coming back the other way. There's been a lot of speculation you might be able to stop the ontogeny of these guys and get yourself something that can pass for a Calindrodromeus. May explore that at some point. Anyway, time to move along. And we'll turn away from the Dryosaurus habitat to the other side of the trail and pick up our Parasaurolophus. This is the Certocristatus. I think I said that right. Probably not. We've got a male and two females in here. The young babies are kind of cute. And when we get up close, you can get a better sense of that. Yeah, very neatness in their heads, so that triggers cute reaction in people pretty standardly. These guys were doing a good job of staying together while I was filming, sometimes a little too together when they're sharing a body. But they're not doing the big honking calls yet, at least not that I've caught them. In the back there you can see a building, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. That's nominally the lab and nursery proper, and these are just the pens where the young animals would be kept to accustom them a little bit to being outside before being moved to a proper habitat. This video will be a little bit longer, partially because we're going to spend time looking at babies, but we're also going to spend some time out of this park looking at babies because I didn't have all the animals I wanted to look at in this park. So we will move on to the last one of these. Oh dear. That was an oops. We made it go away. And on to an actual baby version of it. These guys have cute little stubby horns. And actually, one of my favorite scaly babies. They were not doing a lot to cooperate with us at first for getting their pictures taken. But there's a good close-up shot of one of these guys. And it's, of course, going to walk away as soon as we find it there. The babies will pick a leader from among their little group and tend to follow along with that. This whole process is still in work by the devs. Sometimes the effects can be quite cool, even if there is a little bit of body sharing. But it also can be somewhat problematic, particularly when the animals are in with adults. So we're going to go back to our first-person mode here and turn away from this habitat and finish out walking down the trail. You can see there are gates in there for keepers to get through so they can get into the Dryosaurus habitat. Ignore the structure ahead, that's coming up. And this is the trail to the lab, which we cannot go through because of that fence. So we'll go around. The idea is that that fence would keep the guests out of this area unless they were on a specific tour. And then we come up to the entrance area, which has not been tricked out. And you can see a little patio sort of thing here with another barrier, which we also can't walk through. So we'll pop out of first-person mode. And you see us bouncing off it. Pop out of first-person mode and get down those stairs. Come on, there we go. Let's get down the stairs. There we go. Once we get down there, we'll see another feature of first-person mode, which I don't remember the dev talking about, but we can interact with that keeper gate. And in we go, so we can actually get into the habitat with the animals. Walk up to them and look down on them, get eeped at by them. We can't actually interact with them, I'm afraid, at least not yet. But there is a certain frisson there, having the experience of being very point of view in a habitat with these babies, or in this case, this baby, who's going to practically run under our legs. Anyway, he's busy being cute, so I'll talk a little bit about what's coming up. We're going to shift parks after we look at some baby footage with our animals here in Dinosaur Coast to get a look at the Plateosaurus and the Coelophysis. So out of first-person mode, because we can't cross that fence. There is no gate on this side in this habitat. And we're having trouble doing that. I guess I left this a little too long. But you can see the other babies running around. Very active area with these little guys running all over the place. So we're heading back along the trail, and we're going to pop up and over to the Plateosaurus habitat. This is the larger juvenile. It's not quite adult yet. There goes one of the adults. And that's the one that they have bonded to, which is why they tend to hang with it. And the smaller juvenile, not quite a baby anymore, at least not a first stage baby, and it has not picked up with the group. They seem to be able to wander away, particularly if they get the zoomies, and then they don't hear the parent calling or can see the parent, and then they wander around on their own for a while. Just how much of that the devs are going to change remains to be seen. I don't know what that noise was. I think I had an off-camera thing happen. Sorry about that. Actually, we'll see if that noise shows up on the recording. I know I heard it. I don't know if it got picked up by the microphone. If it didn't, ignore what I just said. So we're about to change our animals now. And over to the Coelophysis. And these guys have been really embracing the group effect. Excuse them pooping in front of the camera, but there it is. Not sure why it's glitching slow as I'm recording this, but it is. It didn't seem to be when I was looking at the raw footage. But you can see some of these guys walking around. They'll pick up some more friends as they cruise around in the bushes there. There's one of the babies. They do a really good job of hiding in the foliage, particularly in this heavy, low-growth habitat. We kept losing them. Oh, there was one. And there goes another. And another on the right. Like I said, hard to see. So I'm going to jump cut to some that are out in the open. You see these two deciding to have a drink and synchronizing their drinking pretty well. And a couple of adults come up and they want to be elsewhere. And they go in opposite directions. Nice emergent behavior from the animal AI. And one more jump I forgot to mention. We're going to see the little baby Psittacosaurus. This is the not specifically named species Psittacosaurus, the one that we have a lot of information on its color and conformation. That actually was a juvenile running away. And we've jumped parks. This is Lake Wainwright. I'm sorry, my transitions weren't as transition-y as I had hoped, and I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, a little bit of overview of the park, and we're going to head out to the Mammoth Steppe enclosure to take a look at some of the animals there and their babies as we zoom in. And this is a young rhino, woolly rhino. Not quite a full baby. You can see the horns already starting to come in. But he's wandering around mostly on his own at the moment. Not sure the why of that. But he's a good looking baby. We also have the Megaloceros. Young baby here was just trotting across the park, apparently trying to find someone to bond with. I think he sort of settled on that black one, which was an earlier baby. These things, like I mentioned earlier, were growing up faster than I was anticipating. And just not quite ever catching up. And I did put in some more babies, so we've got an actual early baby woolly mammoth here. again, heading across the park looking for someone to latch onto. And while I was watching, he wasn't terribly successful. So we've jumped another park, and this is California Paleo Park. And the big park I recently got to is about as far as it can go, and an overhead view of it. And here we have a baby Triceratops in our Hell Creek area of the park. You can see the size difference of this baby compared to the adults that are wandering around in the habitat. And I caught this little guy just walking right underneath the Edmontosaurus, right between his legs. Big advantage of the size difference. So this one, unlike the Coelophysis, is more than happy to eat while the adults are eating. I don't know if that was just happenstance, or if it's something that is part and parcel of this species. I don't know how I'll know that. But we also have baby Edmontosaurus in here. They mostly, while I was filming, wanted to just wander around. This video is a little bit longer than the usual ones. And one last one is the baby Ankylosaurus, with his little tiny baby tail club there. Anyway, we've run over the usual time limit they want for low viewership producers like me. So, if you thought the video was worth watching, make a comment, that helps, and subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe we can get some more people checking it out, and they'll be happier to have me have longer time. Till next time, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and I'll see you in another video, I hope. Dino Bob, signing off.